Hello, everybody. Welcome to Aren't You Tired Of? And happy April Fool's Day to everyone. And, Mark and I thought, my co-host Mark Benton.
Hi.
Patti Johnson here. We were thinking April Fool's Day. We love April Fool's Day. We love pranks.
Love a little prank.
Love a little prank. Love a little fun. And so we thought today, let's have some fun and talk about, aren't you tired of acting like your parent? Now,
That's a good one.
This is a good one. I think we can all relate to it. And so if you feel like, God, there's a few things that you're doing out there, maybe, and it's coming a little too easily, that are just like what your parents would do, we're going to have some fun with it today. And we're going to, you know that Progressive commercial?
I really love the Progressive commercial.
Yes.
It's genius.
It's genius. And sadly, I have recognized myself on that. And I cannot tell you how many times Jim Johnson, my husband, it was the biggest joke, because before we ever got to the Progressive commercial, he would walk into a store and look at the square footage and be like, how many candles? No, they're not going to sell that many candles to make any money in this thing. So we have lived it. So the Progressive commercial kind of got us going.
Yeah.
And so this topic, Mark, what do you think about it?
We are always trying to think through. First of all, we start with what we're tired of.
Oh, it has to
right.
be.
Right. It's a list. And then after we think through that, listeners, we're all about trying to bring topics and conversation that helps you work and live better. And, so this topic, if you find yourself acting like your parents, there's no shame. There's no judge here.
No judging.
Because we all do it. We got some gems to share. And, you just got to be you.
Yeah.
You just got to be you, But I will say, if you're listening and all of a sudden you think about someone else in your life that you're like, they really act like their parents. So like, if you have a sibling or somebody you're close to and, you're like, oh my gosh, you act just like dad or you act just like mom. This episode is also for sharing.
Yes,
and you
absolutely.
need to send them that subtle hint of, this is you. You needed this.
You need to know.
Yeah.
Well, when we started talking about this topic, the perfect guest came into mind, because I want to introduce Charlotte and Ntreh. And Charlotte, I have known Charlotte. We've been friends for a very long time. We all met back in Accenture days and have worked together since then. So smart, great executive change consultant, has worked with some of the companies you'd recognize, the Fortune 10s, the 50s, et cetera. Also started the most amazing nonprofit, Gaining Independence for Tomorrow gift. We can ask Charlotte about that later. But just a well-rounded, wonderful person. But the reason Charlotte is with us today, Charlotte wrote an article about this topic a few years ago. And I mean, we had more laughs, more interest in it. And so when we started this topic, like, Charlotte, you need to come join us. So welcome, Charlotte. We're glad you're here.
Welcome, Charlotte.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. This is my kind of topic.
Yeah, it is. So, Charlotte, we love quizzes. We told you we love quizzes on this show.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let Charlotte start us off with some quizzes. If you feel like, am I acting like my parents?
Right.
Charlotte, ask us some questions so we can figure out.
Get into this little quizzy quiz here.
Yes, are we?
Yeah. A lot of us, we think we're going to be, in the fifth grade forever, right? And we always see the beauty in other people, but maybe not ourselves. So I have a few questions here.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's think about these things, because you may be in the right place to hear this topic today, if any of these things resonate with you. So let's start with number one. If you are printing boarding passes in the year 2026, this may be the place for you. If you have a checkbook anywhere in your possession or in your house, they don't even give checkbooks anymore. They don't give checks when you open accounts anymore. So if you are in possession of one, this may be for you. If you have, quote unquote, a good pair of walking shoes, this topic might be one you want to sit in on. And if you, and this I think of my dad, if the waist of your pants are closer to your chest than they are to your belly button, yes, I'm certain You'll want to be here.
Oh.
You're acting like your parents. Well, yeah, that's a good quiz. So I think for those of you that you were kind of nodding to any of those quiz questions, this topic probably fits. So Charlotte, question for you, because some of those that you brought up, they can fit work travel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they fit kind of like our total life. And I'm curious, when you think about the workplace, is that kind of a breeding ground for that workplace parent energy? And I ask because we've got multiple generations. And I know I'll have my friend, my son's friends will talk about, I'm working with somebody I work with is like the same age as my dad. You know, and that's common, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, do you feel like, and Mark, you too, do you feel like the workplace, there is a breeding ground? What do you see for when you're acting old at work?
Oh my gosh. You know, with 4 generations now in the workplace, right?
Yeah.
You see all types of behavior. But one of the things I learned is that if someone in the workplace refers to you as not Charlotte, but Miss Charlotte, yes, that means you've had behavior
That might be dating
your
you.
parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That is. Should they call you Miss Charlotte? Would you rather be just like, just call me Charlotte?
Just Charlotte.
Okay.
Just
All right.
Charlotte.
You know what? I just would
right.
prefer maybe if they even call me just dude.
Just
You know,
dude.
hey, dude.
Hey, kid.
Yeah.
But that's also one thing that should be on the list, right? If someone,
If they call you
if
dude.
someone is using the word
Bruh. Yeah.
Dude. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. What else
That's
are you
right.
guys seeing in at work that sometimes just flags you as you're acting like your parents?
Well, I thought this was funny, and as Charlotte was talking, I'm still back on the checkbook, but I remember when after the pandemic was kind of waning and people were starting to go back into offices and all of that. I remember walking down the hall with someone, and they walked past the copy room, you know, and they looked at the copy machine and they said, "Hello, old friend."
Oh,
and I was like, "What?" Because I haven't been able to print anything because I don't have a printer at home, and I didn't want to go buy one. And she's like, "I just need a good hard copy."
Yes,
you know. And like since then, we've moved into like the digital age. Like I don't print anything.
Well, I do, obviously. I still like it. I just like it. I like it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I think too, and I don't know what you think, Charlotte, but I've seen like also a lot of this love with the email.
Oh, yes.
Send a lot of them and include everyone that's ever known about the project.
That's
and
right.
then come up after I sent it about 30 minutes later and say, "Charlotte, did you get my email?" So I think that is, you know, kind of the whole email thing can really kind of give you that parental look.
Especially, team, if you're writing the email and then printing the email.
Yes.
And then printing the
That's
email.
bad. That's bad.
Yeah, and one of the things we have to watch out for too is if our teams are using other forms of communication, right? If they're using Teams and messaging, and we're still send it to me in an email.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
assuming I need the email. It can't be a quick conversation. It can't be a quick text. Or as you said,
That's
a
right.
team, Slack, whatever you happen to use at your organization.
You know, have y'all encountered people like when you go to lunch that they start like just dissecting the menu? Oh, I'm not going to be able to have the broccoli.
Or they've already looked before they get there.
Or before we get there, like I've already looked at the menu and I'm going to have the so-and-so, but please hold the so-and-so. I can't do carrots.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, like
yes.
I have someone I go to lunch with, and it is like, well, why don't you just ask them for just a glass of water? I mean, we'll be done.
It's too complicated.
It's just too complicated going to lunch with you.
It would be.
You know, and it reminds me of my grandmother. Now, how much salt do you put in this?
Yes, exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the workplace, it is probably the most pronounced. And I think you're talking about our communication behaviors, how we interact with people, how we show up. Yeah. And I think it can be that need for no, this isn't all age related, but that
Yeah.
need for predictability and certainty.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you know a
Right.
few things. The older you get, you know a few things about a few things.
you know a few
Right.
things.
You
Yes.
know?
And one of the things personally I had to really pay attention to
Mhm.
was the double spacing.
Oh, I know.
Double
After the
spacing.
period, you don't do
Double
that.
spacing.
Oh, you mean like
after the-
period and then the
after
space
the
space?
period and
Don't do
double
it.
Well,
spacing.
Don't do
that's
it.
really old school there, Charlotte.
That
Yes,
is.
it
That
is.
is.
I mean, we
It
stopped
is.
doing the
Yeah.
double space
Mhm. A while
a
ago.
millennia
A
ago.
while ago.
Yeah.
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 I
That's
mean,
like,
I even think that, the grammar check catches that.
usually, yes. It also
It does now.
It does now.
You got too many spaces
Yeah.
behind this. Huh?
You need to fix
Yeah.
it.
Well, what about when we're out in the wild? Like outside of work, like you just
Socially.
socially, you're just unconstrained and you're just out and you're not trying to be on your work behaviors. I'm
Mhm.
wondering, how you see yourself or others, acting like your
that.
parents. What about you, Charlotte?
One that I've actually talked to other people about is I call it if you have to lean in any direction to read, right? If you lean backwards because you have to look to the Bible, or forwards to squint,
Yes.
or to the side to say, what does that say?
Get
to
some
your
glasses.
neighbor. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that on it.
That's out there. I also think
I started pushing my
Oh.
laptop back. Like,
Well,
I'm not
honestly,
printing, but I'm like this. I got to sit up there.
exactly.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
Can you
that's
blow
dad
that up?
behavior.
But yeah.
I know. I will say, and I have experienced this not too long ago. I don't know if y'all have ever been like to a wedding and the most buttoned up guy, he's got the navy blazer. He's the office guy. He's the senior person. He gets on the dance floor.
Oh,
Honey, he is back at the college frat party. He is
Yes.
doing.
yeah.
He's doing the stanky leg. He's got the bite, lip bites going.
Patty
And-
said
Hey, well, or even my era, they might be
Right.
doing the bump, or
The
if you live
bump.
through disco, and so it is
Oh.
like an eye popper.
Yes.
To me, what
Yes.
is
So you're thinking that
happening?
said sir may have had a few cocktails in him as well, or not?
Totally.
or not,
Totally.
but totally reliving
Yes.
the high school prom,
Oh yeah.
the college party, and is bringing it. And it is like, wow.
Mm.
Wow.
But having fun.
Mhm.
And that's what we
Totally.
should be doing, right?
Right.
It's not
We should be.
criticism.
Well, how about I do this and my family will pull me over to the side, like, get out of their business. And I'm like, I'm in the grocery store and I see the little toddler standing up in the basket, like where you put the kid.
Oh, no,
And they're just standing and they're reaching. And I will see that and I'll be like, what? Are you going to do something about your
Safety
child?
police.
I'm like,
Safety
listen,
police.
I told my son, I was like, I might need to call CPS. I mean, and he's like, don't call CPS. Like, quit parenting other people's children. I said,
Other
it's my
people's children.
responsibility. If you see something, you got to say something. I'm seeing it, so I got to say
Say
it.
it. That's right.
Right. I mean, I do that a lot. And they're like, Dad, step
Yeah,
back.
Step out. Not your thing.
Not
Dad.
not your
And
kid.
speaking of the
Yeah,
grocery
you can't claim them
store,
on your taxes, so stop.
Yes. What?
Totally.
Yes.
Speaking of the grocery store, one of the things my husband says I do, like my mother, is strike up a conversation with 2 or 3 people in different aisles in the grocery store,
Oh.
right?
See, that
Yeah.
surprises me, Charlotte. Now, what triggers you to start that You're not just going to be out there chitty-chatting. Is it about what you're buying or what's happening?
Yeah, it's usually about what they're buying. Like if they're pulling something off the shelf and I think, oh, what is that? Have you had that? Is it good?
Mm.
Oh,
You know,
Mm.
that's
yeah.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
is. That's a little bit like, that's
Yeah.
like your parents.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. Now, this is not grocery store related.
Yeah.
And this actually is, I think this is one of the things on the Progressive commercial, but I see it regularly.
Yeah.
And that is, you're going to an event. Before you are even parked, there's discussion about, how are we going to get out of here? I think, I think we're going to need to leave a little early because all the traffic's going to be flowing in this direction. And,
Yes.
And that is, and that happens in the office too. Like,
that's facts.
You're already anticipating how you got to make sure you can get out of there.
That's right.
That's right.
I started backing into parking spaces.
No.
So that beep, beep, beep. I back in.
You can get out quickly.
And then I can get out quickly, because if you have to back out, then you're navigating the other person. Like when you're like at an event, and it's a crowded parking lot. So I always back in. My daddy, he backed in.
Backed in.
That's a family joke we have in our family. Once you cross into the backing into that is definitely you're into the acting like your parents.
I did it. I do it.
No question.
I claim it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got one that I purposely participate in this process, so I'm not acting like my mother, but that is in restaurants now, many of them, there are kiosks that you go to order versus going to the counter.
Oh,
yes.
So which one are you? Do you go to the kiosk or do you just rather talk to a live person, right?
Well, Patti,
something to
how
think
about you?
about.
Now this is okay. This is going to be super bougie. I can go to the kiosk. I have no problem using that. That's no issue.
Yeah.
But I am a little bougie because I like someone like bringing me my tea.
Mm.
So that may not be old. It's just high maintenance.
That might be
possibly. You know what I'm saying?
M.
High maintenance.
High maintenance.
And my people that know me know that's just how I am. But I can do the kiosk, but I will say it is a frustration. It is. I do agree that's an example of like, well, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Not going to do it.
I don't know, Charlotte. What do you do? Are you a kiosk or do you go to the desk or do you speak to the person?
I'm a kiosk because I'm very aware that if I go to the desk, I'm not accepting change, right?
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Something to think about.
Yep. Well, this is going to really throw you. I always go to the desk to speak to the person because I'm like, I want you to keep your job. Because the kiosk could take their job. It could snatch their job.
Right out
and
there.
so I'm like, listen, today you have serviced a human to human. And so that's why I don't use the kiosk.
That's very nice.
But that's very much my parents and me. But that's like, because there's a lot of people that don't care. They don't want to talk to people. In fact, they don't want to deal with the person at the kiosk.
No.
I mean, the person behind the desk.
Definitely.
They don't want that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
And even this discussion has another level to it, right? Because you're talking about saving jobs. Whereas on the whereas on the surface, it might look like he's not, accepting change, but you've got a deeper cause there.
Yeah.
And then for me, being a change management,
you're trying to be a change adopter, early adopter, use the kiosk.
I'm thinking accept the change and embrace it. Yeah. Interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One other restaurant thing that I don't know if either of you have experienced that I have, where you're out to dinner with another couple and maybe
you're ready to go to bed.
Well, you still got a little bit of your wine left.
Oh, so we're after dinner.
This is we're still kind of wrapping up dinner.
Oh, okay.
And you see someone start kind of scooting to the edge. It's about time for me to get back home, and it's, that's a sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's past.
Well,
it's past 8:30. Got to get going.
I was laughing because we were out to dinner a few nights ago, and it was one of those things where we were like, oh, well, maybe we can go over to this other place and do this thing. And I looked at my watch and I looked at Shelly and I was like, I'm ready to go home.
It's time.
And she's like, it's 8:30. I'm like, I know.
It's time.
I'm ready to go home.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be, we'll talk about that in a minute. Some of these things that we are starting acting like our parents, maybe it's just what you want to do. Maybe. We'll talk about maybe. But it's your rhythm. Your rhythm is getting different. So we've talked about kind of work and personal, but one of the things I'm really curious about is expressions, which come up in both places, right?
Yeah.
Are there any expressions that are immediately going to flag you as you are acting like your parents?
An expression?
Yeah,
Expression, you might say, words.
Yeah.
words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one that comes to mind immediately for me is whippersnapper.
That's
Whippersnapper. You whippersnapper.
That's like my grandpa who was saying whippers. That's a
The
yes.
Whippersnapper.
That's right up with
Totally.
sign in your text. Love grandma, you know?
Love God.
Yeah.
This is your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is your dad. I think I know.
In text, right? I know.
I know.
You know, one for me, that my mom used to say, and so the phrase is basically like, you know, mind your own business is what
Mhm.
she's saying. But she says, listen, I need so-and-so to keep their dipper in their own bucket.
You've used that before.
And what, have I used that
Yes, you
before?
have.
So-and-so needs to keep their dipper in their own bucket. So, you know, she's hearkening back to, you know,
Oh,
back
my
when they
goodness.
would go and, you know, get, and she wasn't that old, but where they lived in the country where my grandparents lived, they would go and get water and there's a dipper. And so on your way back, you know, if you ran into somebody, you know, oh, you need some water or whatever. But if they put their dipper in your bucket,
Oh,
see, I don't know where your dipper has been, but I know where my dipper has been. You keep your dipper in your own
Yeah.
bucket. And so that's just another way of saying,
That's
I need you
pretty
to
good.
stay out mine,
Yes.
stay in yours.
Yes.
There you go.
There you
Well,
go.
I'll say one that is, again, Jim Johnson, my husband, who said he would just come down here and be interviewed and that would take care of this episode. But he says, and I'll say it in the polite way, he says, you're trying to put 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. And
Well,
that means you're overworking it.
You're doing too
You're
much.
doing too much. You're making this too hard.
so, okay.
And which is my specialty.
So that's the old school way of saying you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
yeah. You know. What
Yeah.
about you, Charlotte? Any expressions that you think, man, that's any other ones?
Yeah, you know, I love a good handbag, and I have a
Yes.
number of purses, right?
You
I think you
do.
know this, Patty.
I do. And
But-
jewelry.
and jewelry,
Mhm.
yes. But a couple of weeks ago, someone came over and we were talking and talking about my bag, and they said, "Yeah, I really like your pocketbook."
Your pocketbook.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
That
I hadn't heard
is-
that
Yep.
one in a while.
Yeah,
yes.
pocketbook.
Yeah.
Now, Charlotte, it's funny that you say pocketbook because I'll go back to work. There was a season, and this was probably, oh my gosh, it could have been almost 8 years ago, where at work I had to manage budgets. And I had, you know, several different budgets that I had to manage. And so my manager at the time, she said, well, listen, what we can do is just have everybody go in and review their pocketbooks. And she was talking about the budgets. And so all of a sudden the budgets became the pocketbooks. And so everybody, let's get the pocketbook managers
Ouch.
together.
Oh my
my
gosh.
God.
Get your pocketbooks out and let's look at our pocketbooks. And so the other day, so that was like 8 years ago. The other day, it was like a week ago, I was sitting in a meeting and somebody said, well, aren't we going to get the pocketbook managers together? I about fell out my chair. I
And
was
you're
like, wow.
What? And see if
it's
they
like,
want to write some checks.
Right. I was like, do you even know what a pocketbook is?
Exactly.
But yeah, the pocketbook.
Goodness.
Yes.
Pocketbook managers.
Well, I will say one other thing that's a work,
Yeah.
example that I see is people that they will say things like, well, the way we used to do it at blank,
Yeah.
kind of a back in the day, and it might be a 25-year-old example, and they constantly pull back from
Yeah.
where they were 25
Yeah.
years
That's
ago.
right.
Yeah.
And, it's like things have changed a little bit in 25 years. Doesn't mean
Yes.
that your experience isn't valuable, but you got to acknowledge that it's a little bit different world
Yeah.
now, than it was. But that kind of back in the day thing
Mhm.
is for sure, So, okay, I have one more that's coming to mind, and this is a total dad thing. This would be the kind of thing that the dad would be saying to the 24-year-old. And it will be something about, is it Friday yet? And it's Monday, right? Okay. That's a total dad, expression, and those kinds of, could be dad, could be mom, right? The expressions that.
Is it Friday yet?
Is it Friday yet?
Is it Friday yet?
Is it living the life? Yeah. I'm living the life. Yeah.
Living the dream.
Living the dream.
That's the one.
Living the dream.
That's the one.
Living the
I'm
dream.
Like, oh man.
I know.
Are ya?
I know.
Totally.
I know.
And actually, here's just one last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right? I'm going to add it to the expression list, but it's a little bit of a stretch there. And I've actually done this myself, and that is in the workplace or other places, calling people by someone else's name because you just can't remember.
Yes.
You just can't remember.
Back to dude. Don't say dude.
Bruh.
Or if you have
that's why
kids and you call your kids each other's names, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I know. Both of my sons are older, and so it's pretty. I'm pretty precise now. When I call their names, but I do remember I was calling everybody's name.
Everybody.
Dog's name.
You get the dog as you call the kid.
Name. Yeah.
Everybody's
Once upon a time.
name.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. I used to work with somebody who, male or female, he wouldn't forget their name like he never knew it, right? He wasn't interested enough to know other people. Would call people, "Hey, Buck, how's it going?
Hey, Buck.
How's it going?"
Buck.
Yeah.
Would he call the women Buck?
Oh, yes, anything. Yeah, anybody was, Buck.
Man.
Hey, Buck, what's happening?
Buck,
That's
what's up?
bad.
Am I meeting with Buck?
Yes, but I think your example, right, Charlotte? Like, I don't quite remember their name. I'm just going to pull out a, buddy, something, whatever I've got.
Well, I think it's sad, too, because I can meet you and then 5 minutes later forget you.
And I have been, that's not an age thing with me. That's been
terrible.
That is terrible.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, who?
Now what again?
No, what? Who? What?
Yeah, you're not listening.
I do that as well.
You're not listening.
Yeah.
So, we always, even though this has been fun and we've been laughing, we want to be sure, we always like give away, what are some tidbits?
Yeah.
What are some takeaways and things that we want to remember? And so I'm curious, I want to ask you all, what is something, two questions we're going to end on, not completely end, but talk about before we land this topic. What is one thing that y'all do that you said that's like your parents that you said you'd never do, but now you're doing it?
Hmm.
Yes.
Besides the grocery store talking, Charlotte, anything else?
Yes, I distinctly remember when I was younger, my mother used to irritate me. My mother was a teacher by profession, and she would irritate me because she explained everything like a teacher. And I always said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bore my kids with that, blah, blah. And I find myself sometimes explaining every little thing. It's like, I need to make sure you understand the background before I bring you current, right? So, I have to admit, yes.
Actually, Charlotte, that was going to be mine too. And I think sometimes my kids blame it on the kind of work we do, and you and I do similar kind of work.
That's right.
Because having that consulting brain, you need to understand the big picture.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, I really don't.
Yeah.
I just need you to, we don't need to understand. We don't need to understand where everybody's coming from. Let's just, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Right.
So I would have said the same. What about you, Mark? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I use a lot of phrases that my dad or my mom used with me. Like when my kids were little and they were working on something and I was trying to help them prioritize, my dad would always say, "Big rocks first, man."
Oh, yeah.
Big rocks first.
That's good. That's good.
And so it's like, it's that old adage for those of you that aren't familiar. It's like, if you have like rocks and balls and pebbles and all these things and you're trying to get it all to fit in a jar, it was an exercise teaching kind of prioritization. It was like, if you put the big things in first, they'll fit. And then you fit the little things around it.
That's wise.
And so, it was really wise. And so, but when he was saying it, I was like, oh man, like why are you keep telling me the big rocks first? And then when I started saying it to my children, and then when I heard them repeat it back, like, remember that big rocks first. And I was like, okay, there you go.
Yeah. Ah,
It's
see,
there,
that's a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, that was
That's
one.
a good
That's a good
segue
one.
to your question, Mark, on
Yeah.
what else?
Yeah, and I was thinking, so I've told you mine, but I'm interested from the both of you, and in contrast to the one thing you said you'd never do. What's one thing that acting like your parents, you're doing, and it's really smart and wise. So what's that thing?
What do you think, Charlotte? Anything that comes to mind on that?
Yeah, I think I pattern myself in parenting a lot after my parents, and that is giving the latitude to explore and to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And
So
looking
good.
at
That's
failure
good.
is not bad. It's a way of
Mm-hmm.
learning. It's another option
Mhm.
for learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's really smart.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one,
sure.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
What about you, Patty?
I think you can get carried away with this, but I think being intentional, like you don't have to know everything you want to do in life, but
Right.
what do you really want? What really matters to you?
Yeah.
And are you moving in the direction? Are you taking a step, might not be directly there, a step that will maybe get you where you want to be? And I think, I know my mom was not someone who gave me career advice or anything like that, but she was very focused on kind of like what matters to you and what your values are. What do you care about in life? Don't lose track of it. That was sort of her thing. And I think at the time, as with all things with parents, sometimes it can be annoying.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know how
Yeah, I
to
got
juggle
this.
all this
Yeah.
stuff. And but now, I think I very much subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Have an intention, be intentional, move toward what you want.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
those are good. Those are really good. This conversation is just really, really fun. Not only, just kind of being, a little funny on April Fool's Day, but just being able to honor, parents.
Right.
Whether they were yours by birth or they claimed you, along the way, being able to really honor parents, because I think it's a job that sometimes you don't always get thanked for.
Sure.
So I kind of think acting like my parents, it's a way of honoring them,
Yeah.
Right.
and the ones before, and so I think it's important to remember, some of those ways that they taught us, because they served them well, and they can
Right.
still serve us well. But also, it's important to stay current, right?
Exactly.
It
I
is.
think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte, I'm sorry, you're about to say something there on that.
No, I was going to say, and it's good to poke fun at yourself.
Yeah.
From time to
Mhm.
time. My family, extended family, we are just notorious, right? We give each other a hard time all the time, but it's out of love, right? So if we
Yeah.
see you chewing gum a little too hard, you're chewing it like our grandmother did, it's just
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It
fun.
is. We're the same. Our family is the same. And I
Yeah.
think too, to echo what you said, Mark, I think the thing we're big on in this show is be you, be who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Be you.
if you are acting like your parents, at least know it. And maybe
Right.
I don't care,
Yeah.
and, but, and there are certain things like technology we know, depending upon what your goals are in life, probably want to stay pretty current. What's going on? Know how to do your stuff.
Right.
Important.
And so we're like, just recognize it, be who you are. We celebrate you no
Yeah.
matter
Yes.
no matter what. So
That's right.
with that, I want to just land this happy April Fool's Day. Don't go prank anybody too bad today, please.
Yeah, not hard pranks.
Not hard
like
pranks.
Easy pranks.
No.
Easy pranks,
Yeah.
funny pranks. I want to thank Charlotte. Charlotte, I know how busy you are. You made time to come in and laugh with us and
Yes.
have some fun on this topic. And so we hope you all will, you've enjoyed this topic. Share it with people that you think, as Mark said, if there are people like, it's not so much me, but I know some people, please share it with them. Give us feedback. Please subscribe. We'd love it to join the community around Aren't You Tired Of on Spotify
We love
and on
hearing from you.
Apple.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you. With that, have a great week and enjoy the rest of your April Fool's Day.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Thank you all. Goodbye.